So sine and cosine are complementary angles. In order for you to solve this one, write an expression in terms of sine or cosine. Is if it's sine, I'm writing it in terms of cosine. And then subtract 22 from 90. Yes. No, I do not. I did not bring them today. This is going to be cosine 68. Okay, that's all you're doing. Okay, because sine and cosine are complementary angles, subtract it from 90. So looking at the next one, if I have cosine 56, my answer is going to be sine 34. And looking at the last one, if I have cosine 15, this one's going to be sine 75. That's writing in terms of sine and cosine. Okay, so again, you will see this question on the test. It is not a difficult question. All you have to do is subtract by 90, and either it's cosine or sine. And that's your answer. Okay, write your little degree sign, and you're done. All right, today we're doing 9-6, solving right triangles. All of these are word problems. Like I said, I just made your tests. You're going to have 3 word problems on there. Okay, 3 word problems, 2 of which do not have an image. So last set of notes, I told you guys you're not always going to have an image. You're going to have to wait. You're not always going to have an image. And for 2 out of the 3, you are not going to have an image. So you're going to have to solve it yourself. All right, looking at this, inverse trigonometric ratios. We've kind of covered these already. We've done inverse. When do I use the inverse ratio? When do I use the inverse ratio? When you're solving for an angle. That's the only time you're using the inverse trigonometric ratios. So please write that down somewhere. Used when solving for an angle. Okay, and remember on the calculator, how do I get the inverse? The second. Good. You have to push the second button to get that -1. You have to get that inverse. Okay, and you're only using it when you're solving for angles. All right, looking at this example, it says draw a diagram showing a person who is 1.5 meters tall, standing 20 meters from the base of a building. Also show that the person sights the top of the building with an angle of elevation of 58 degrees. Find the height of the building. So go ahead and just try and draw this as best as you can according to what it's asking. Draw it as best as you can. Draw your own image. Where is the building? Where is the site? His line of sight, the angle of elevation, and label it. I need you guys to draw this because you will get this question, a question very, very similar to this on your test. And you have to know how to draw it. All right, so drawing it, please pay attention on how it's being drawn really close. Really, really close. All right, I'm going to draw right here on the side. First thing it says is a person is 1.5 meters tall. Please pay attention because you're going to have this on your test. Here's his height, 1.5 meters. Okay, I am drawing it to the side because I'm going to go ahead and draw my building. Here is my building with my windows. Super weird. It's a very creative building. Okay. So it says the person is standing 20 meters from the base of the building. Here's the base of the building. He's a total of 20 meters from it. Also show that the person's sight. So line of sight. You are not looking from your toes. My toes are not looking at the building. It's from the person's line of sight to the top of the building. Angle of elevation is right here, 58 degrees. So, labeling information. He is 20 meters from the building. My angle of elevation is 58 degrees. And they're asking me, find the height of the building. They want me to find the total height. I know it looks super messy, so I'm going to try and draw what we need to solve. Remember, we are using trig ratios. All I need is a right triangle, so I'm going to draw it a little better. Here is my triangle. Here's my 58 degrees. It's 20 meters long, and I need to find this measurement. Keep in mind, the height of the building already includes my 1.5 right here. I just need to find the remaining height. So I need to find the remaining height. That's what I'm solving for first. How am I going to solve for my remaining height? All I did was take this right here, and I just drew this triangle. That's basically what I did. I'm getting rid of everything else. Most important thing that we know we're going to need is my SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. Looking at this triangle that I have drawn, I'm going to zoom in right here. What am I going to use to find the height? What do I have? Okay, so looking at it, what do I have? I have, here's my angle. According to my angle, I have my adjacent side and my opposite side. Looking at these, which one only has adjacent and opposite? Tangent. Good, tangent. I'm not using sine, I'm not using cosine, I'm using tangent. So going ahead and plugging in what we have. I am plugging in tan 58 equals opposite over adjacent. How would I solve for H? What do I have to do? Good, multiply 20 to both sides. If you have your calculator, plug it in. 20 times tan 58. Rounding to the nearest whole number. I'm going to have my height equals 32. Is that my answer? No, that is not my answer. Why is that not my answer? Good, because I need to add that 1.5. So getting my answer, 1.5 plus 32. Don't forget to line up those decimals. 33.5 meters is my answer. Questions, comments, concerns on this question? Again, you are not going to have images drawn for you. Example number 2, when the sun's angle of elevation is 38 degrees, a building casts a shadow of 45 meters. How high is the building? So again, thinking about what it's asking, we all have seen a shadow. We know what a shadow is. We know how it should be reflected. So I'm going to go ahead and draw this one for you. Here is my building. Same thing as before, has windows. Looking at my building, here is my sun. And it's casting a shadow on my building. Here is my shadow. The angle of elevation is 38 degrees. It casts a shadow that is 45 meters high, or meters, just 45 meters. What is the height of the building? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Again, SOHCAHTOA. Do I have my hypotenuse here? No, I'm not using sine, I'm not using cosine. I'm going to use tangent again. How am I setting it up? I'm going to have tan 38 equals your opposite side over your hypotenuse. Same thing as before. Go ahead and multiply both sides by 45. Plugging it into our calculator. 45 tan 38. Round to the nearest whole number. How tall is my building?
35 meters.
Good, 35 meters is my answer. Just a reminder for solving right triangles, if they're not giving you X, Y, and Z, so for your homework, when you're looking at it, it says solve for the right triangle, You're solving for all unknown side lengths and angle measures. That's all it means. Find all the missing side lengths and all the missing angle measures. For this question, it says solve the right triangle. When you were looking at this one, you're solving for the missing sides and the missing angle. So we're going to do, this side is A. I'll do it in lowercase. B. And this angle is angle, we'll just leave it at angle B, or we'll leave it at angle B. We'll put it as X. All right, sides and angle. Looking at this, which is the easiest one to find first? X, the measure of angle B. That would be the easiest one, and how would I solve that? Good, so you're gonna take, I'm solving for the measure of angle B. All you're gonna do is 42 plus 90, 132, and then do 180 minus 132 to give you that missing side, or you can do 42 minus 90. We'll do it that way just because it's shorter. 90 minus 42. If you subtract 90 minus 42, what would you get?
48.
Good. The measure of angle B is 48. 48 degrees. That one was pretty easy. Now I have to solve for A and B. You can do this. You can solve it using multiple ways. Okay, you can solve it using multiple ways. Why would I say you can solve it using multiple ways? Because I have two angles. I have 48 and I have 42. Let me make this a little better. Depending on what angle you want to use, either you're using sine or cosine. But personally, I'm going to use what they already gave me. So I'm going to use angle 42. So looking at it, solving for A, that's what I'm going to solve for first. Solving for A, I'm again using SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. And again, I'm going to go ahead and use 42. Looking at my 42, what are they giving me? They're giving me my adjacent side and my hypotenuse. I'm going to go ahead and use cosine. But if you wanted to use 48, now look at what they're giving you. Your opposite side and your hypotenuse. But we're still going to get the same answer. Okay, we're still going to get the same answer no matter what. So I'm going to go ahead and use cosine. If you want to use sine and see if we get the same answer, for all means, go ahead. I'm writing it as cosine 42 equals my adjacent side over A. This is what I'm solving for first. So looking at it, how do I get A by itself? All right, I'll do it in steps. I'm going to multiply both sides by A because I can't multiply by 70. And then I'm dividing by cosine 42. So what would that look like? What it's going to look like is A equals 70 over cosine 42. That's what you're plugging into your calculator. 70 divided by cosine 42. And it says round to the nearest tenth. So what would this be rounded?
94.2.
Good. 94.2. All right, now we have to solve for B. Again, personally, I'm going to use what they gave me. So I am going to be using 42 and 70. What would B be considered? According to 42, my angle.
The opposite.
Good. So now I have opposite and my adjacent side. I'm going to be using tangent. So I have tan 42 equals opposite over adjacent. And now what do I have to do to both sides? Good. Multiply both sides by 70. And then plugging it into your calculator, 70 times tan 42. And again, rounding to the nearest tenth, B is going to equal 63 feet. All right, again, you could solve this multiple different ways. I would just use what they're giving you. Questions, comments, concerns on this one? Suppose your school is building a raked stage. The stage will be 30 feet long from the front to back with a total rise of 2 feet. A rake, meaning angle of elevation of 5 degrees or less, is generally preferred for the safety and comfort of the actors. Is the rake stage you are building within the range suggested? So how would I solve for the angle? That's what they're asking us. They're asking us for the angle. Looking at what they're giving me, again, I'm going to go ahead and write my SOHCAHTOA. Looking at my SOHCAHTOA, what are they giving me according to my angle? So here's my angle. Okay, here's my angle. What are they giving me?
Opposite and hypotenuse.
Good, they're giving me my opposite side and my hypotenuse side. Which one of my trig ratios has only opposite and hypotenuse? Good. So I'm going to be using sine, I don't know, equals my opposite side is what? 2 over 30. What do I have to do to find my angle? Now we're solving for angle. What do I have to use? Good, I have to use the inverse. So plugging it into my calculator, you're doing the inverse of sine, 2 over 30. Go ahead and plug that into your calculator. Second sine, 2 over 30. Round to the nearest tenth. What would you get? Good, 3.8. Is that within the comfort of the actors?
Yeah.
So, yes, it is within the range. Okay, questions, comments, concerns on this one?